everyone. Yeah, so it's quite, the week is progressing on well. I think for long-term traders, you must be holding some positions in there that are not moving so much. But for scalpers, there is some good scalping movement. I've been seeing on the Telegram group, people are making some good profits, scalping on the smaller time frames. So with Forex, you can either do the long-term trades, which I always get the law of relativity to it. You're trading a bigger time frame, it's like scalping in a big chart. So you have a scalp that will take you a number of days, whereas if you're actually scalping, you're going to make that same movement on a smaller chart, and if you have a big lot, then you'll make the same amount of money. So basically, there isn't the only difference is in the mind. Some relativity comes to play there. It's like a big engine and a small engine. They're both doing the same work, but one is doing a lot of work because it is just bigger. But you get what I'm trying to say. So for this, for the markets, if you've been scalping this week, things have been moving quite well. And today there aren't many events left. There are actually no high impact events left today. There are some speeches and some medium impact events. You can look at the economic calendar and see what you can trade for the remaining of the day. You can just look at those statistics and those speeches. You compare them to the previous readings, and you will get a market flow in there. You'll see how this can impact the market fundamentally. Now, for technical analysis, yesterday we were looking at some charts, and I think we looked at about 4 charts. So the only charts I'm looking for are those that are already in a trend. I don't want to start predicting reversals and looking for changes in the market, but let's look at some charts which are already in a certain movement and see how to join in. See how to join in later on and collect some pips here. Those which are about to exhaust their velocity, then you can leave those ones or you can take short profits there. But those which are just starting out, which have a good trend formation and have some good market movement, then those ones there you can start with them from an earlier point in their trend, and you can make a very big profit off that. So I think we start with the US dollar versus the Canadian dollar. This is a chart which has been making many people very happy, even today as well. So this chart is currently in a bearish move, and what I'm loading is the daily chart. I'm loading the daily chart to get that market movement. So I think we probably looked at this yesterday, but I just want to show it again. So this is where the chart started moving downwards in this last bearish move. So if I'm taking it to the top there, from this very bottom to that highest point where it started falling, then price is being supported at the 50.0. And what we also have is the tops of the RSI moving downwards, then the tops on the price moving upwards, and this mark has just crossed below the 0 mark, and the moving averages are also about to cross. Now this is on a daily chart, meaning if you trade this from where price is right now at this resistance here with the 50.0, you can maybe trade to the 61.8. There are about 100 pips there, about 1,000 MT4 points. So you can collect those pips if your analysis allows. Your analysis is what should dictate your moves, not your head, not what you think. And for this particular activity, I think the heart is the last organ to listen to. So start with the analysis on the chart that actually shows you that things are moving in this direction. Then just follow the science and the math, and make a proper decision. So if your analysis tells you that this is a good trade, then by all means you can take it. This is the US dollar versus the Canadian dollar. This is the daily chart. And yeah, to the 78.6, they're about $250. That is just that's you can just watch that and see how, if it moves, if it's moving in your direction, then you can take it. But this is not a scalp. This could actually take this whole week and next week. So this whole movement could it could continue. It will take some time to get there. And tomorrow we're having the FOMC minutes, which mostly affect the US dollar, and also gold. Gold is very much affected by the FOMC minutes. So this could, it will probably push it further below. Ever since the non-farm payrolls, it seems anything to do with the US dollar is just going bearish. Okay, so here we have the euro versus the Japanese yen. Yeah, so this in a daily chart, it's not very predictable. And yesterday's movements were very bullish. And the market has been stalling there for quite some time. So if you're a fan of support and resistance, then there is a big resistance there where price is. If you trade according to those principles, then where the topmost point is there, if price breaks above, this is the euro versus the Japanese yen. The price there where I've drawn this white line is 131.290. So once price crosses above there, it will have broken a serious resistance. If it comes back down, then yeah, if price is going upwards and it breaks above there, then you will buy and make some money moving upwards. But if price is to come back downwards, then you can sell below this 23.6. So if price breaks below there, then you can sell. We might have some confirmation. I think the signal line will have moved above the main line on the MACD and so on and so forth. So if price breaks below this 23.6, and this is the 4-hour chart, that's quite a number of candlesticks there. We shall have some good market formation there, and you can start selling downwards to maybe to the 38.2, which has about 33 pips, then to the 50.0, about 60 pips. So those are two scenarios. You either buy or you sell. And here, if it continues buying on the daily chart, you just have one very bullish. We have like two very bullish candlesticks on a daily chart, which are quite rare, but not so rare. But anyway, here it's a very abrupt move. So some movement upwards might not be something, something to look out for. Might not be very possible. But in case price continues upwards, then that will be a good area of confirmation where that white line is. The price, let me repeat it again, 131.290. Yeah, that's the euro versus the Japanese yen. And this is the pound sterling versus the Japanese yen. Same movement as the other chart. Maybe the same analysis can apply, where it's at some strong resistance there. So if price breaks above, then you can buy. And if price, if it breaks below the 23.6, that second yellow line, then you can start selling. And the pips in there for this one, from that line to the 50.0, about 120 pips. So this one is definitely more profitable than the other one. Charts with the pound sterling normally make more money than all other charts, all these currency pair charts. Let's move to the next one. This is the Okay, this is the US Australian dollar versus the Canadian dollar. Yeah, so this one, okay, we're having some kind of divergence. See if I can get this Fibonacci's out of there. Okay, just go to objects list, Fibo, and delete. Yeah, that's very simple. Okay, so for the Australian dollar versus the Canadian dollar, it's like we're having some kind of bullish movement, and in the 4-hour chart, looks like price has broken above this this area of resistance. There was this point A where price was resisted yesterday, and now we're looking forward to breaking this point B. But anyway, if we're having upward movement, then these are some areas to look out for. We draw out the previous trend there, and okay, so just there. So price has broken above the 23.6, and it's headed for the 38.2. And when it gets there, that's where this other area of resistance is. So once it breaks above there, you can collect about 30 pips to the 50.0 and 64 pips upwards. Yeah, if that doesn't happen, then if you're to sell, price will have to break below this low point, so that you have some actual confirmation that price is going downwards. This is also a major support level, so if price is to reverse and break there, then by all means you can go ahead and do some trading there. This one is the Australian dollar versus the Swiss franc. It's not very okay, it looks to be in an upward movement, but it's not something very predictable. It doesn't have a very good formation. So this one here, if it really works for you, maybe in the small time frames, we can get some. Anyway, let's not dwell so much on this one. You can't trade every chart all the time. Let's move on to the Australian dollar versus the Japanese yen. So this chart is a favorite of so many people, because these two countries, their sessions open probably at the same time, Australia and Japan. In our time, it's about 1 a.m. midnight of our time. So for them, that's when their sessions open. So at that time, you can actually trade these charts. They can be as volatile as the Euro USD and Pound USD. So every night, if you're up for it, you can trade those charts and see how to profit from them. After midnight, if you're feeling sleepy, then just go to sleep. Don't bother trading these charts. Don't bother trading at night when you're very sleepy. You're going to end up dreaming that you entered very good trades when you actually entered some dangerous trades for your account. So this chart, it has been okay. So the downward movement started from around there. If I map it out, I think we looked at this chart here some time back, expecting it to sell, but it's instead going bullish. Something happening in Australia that's causing these charts to start moving up, or something happening in Japan. Actually, something happening in Japan, because every other chart that has the Japanese yen as a secondary currency, they are all moving upwards. So, yeah, this one could still be in this, it could still be in a long-term bearish trend. What we are having there, okay, it looks like a reversal, first of all. Like this was a very short downward trend. But anyway, if price breaks, now we have a major high and a major low. Meaning, if price breaks above this high point, then we buy. If price breaks below this low point, then we sell. So that is something to really wait for. Yeah, since this is a daily chart, it's going to take very many candlesticks to get some actual confirmation, either upwards or downwards. Maybe on the smaller time frames, you can scalp it out and make some money along the way. But from where things are, if you're a long-term trader and you want to trade this in a daily chart, then the most responsible thing is to wait for price to break one of those, either that resistance or that support. Let's move on to the next one, the Australian dollar versus the New Zealand dollar. And those are the two countries which are quite interesting. They are so near each other. Australia and New Zealand began from there. We can put these Fibonacci retracement levels, and the price is now at the 61.8. Looking at that from a daily chart, maybe if we take it a little bit further to the other beginning of a downward trend, then price is just at the 50.0 mark. So here my guess is if price continues upwards, we can make collect some pips, about 180 pips to this 78.6. The safest point being about 80, okay, about 83, about 80 pips. That's a safe bet. Then an ambitious bet is about 180 pips. That is if price continues moving upwards. But looking at the nature of how it's moving upwards, it's really, there's a lot of volatility there, a lot of strength. So if it loses that momentum, it might have some kind of a range market for a while before it continues moving upwards. But if you're to sell, price will have to break below this point of support. Yeah, that will be a good place to start selling. If price breaks below there, then you can collect some pips downwards. But right now it is bullish and it's not advisable to trade against the trend. So by all means, we should take the the bullish side, and we see how to make some money upwards. Not all the way, but where you find it comfortable to get out, that's where you get out. And you first do your other analysis and see if price is actually heading upwards based on what you feel. And if it is, then by all means you can get in. The Canadian dollar versus the CHF, it still looks weird. Okay, so this looks like a long-term sort of range market. That's a weekly chart. Let me look at the 4-hour chart. Maybe, okay, it's not really predictable. Maybe in a very small time frame. If you have a small spread, maybe in these small time frames you can make some. So you can see something predictable in this chart. But let's just move on to the next one. The Canadian dollar versus the Japanese yen. So it might also be bullish as well. Every chart that has Canada, sorry, that has Japan as a secondary currency, they are all bullish. They are all moving upwards. This one, okay, look at that. So if the price is actually up here, the candlesticks are still loading. If price is actually up there, then it has reached a point where it was previously resisted. So maybe the momentum for this chart has actually run out. It might not have very much momentum there. Okay, so the full chart has loaded properly. Okay, so it has actually risen up to the top there. So that's a good place to place your bets if you're a gambling person. If you're a gambling person, you can maybe take on this resistance and start selling immediately, or wait for it to break and you buy. But this is a very abrupt move. In a daily chart, Yeah, it looks very bearish. Sorry, it looks very bullish. These were charts which were very bearish some days back, like last week. Now they are very bullish. Whatever has happened to Japan, this is how you see the fundamental effects. This is how you see the fundamental effects affecting the chart. They start moving in ways that you couldn't predict technically, but anyway, that's okay. That's okay. So here, if you're a gambling person, you can start selling, or you can wait for it to break and then you start buying. It will also still be a gamble. Shall need some concrete information to make a proper decision. The CHF versus the Japanese yen. It's also really bullish. So Japan has really fallen. Okay, so this one, same thing. Price is at a former resistance area within that gap there. So whatever you decide to do there is entirely up to you. It's not very predictable right now. But if you're itching to trade, then you can put some money somewhere else and start gambling with some good information. This one, the euro versus the Australian dollar. Okay, this one looks good. Looks better than the others. We have an actual trend here. We have a trend reversal there. This is actually good. So we're actually in a bearish market. When you go for these bottoms to the tops, price has just broken. It's a picture perfect break. In the daily chart, it has broken below the 61.8, and there is selling opportunity there. There's selling opportunity there, probably up to this 78.6, about 130 pips to collect there. That is, it's a very big probability. It could happen. So once this candlestick here closes today at midnight, then a new one opens, then you can very much sell to this area there. About, you see the number of those pips again. They are about 130 pips, 130 pips to be on the safe side. So this is a good chart to trade. It's predictable, unlike those other charts we've been seeing that have the Japanese yen in the secondary slot. Okay, so now the euro versus the Canadian dollar, also very bearish, but okay, price looks to be way below any previous move. Okay, it's right now at that support level. So here, same thing as the other side. What I was talking about, the gambling. So you've reached a very big support level there. You can either decide to buy, hoping that it bounces off, or you wait for it to break that level and then you sell. It's a very strong movement there. So it could have lost its momentum somewhere. Okay, sort of a gamble here, but if it works for you, then by all means, go for it. Okay, this is the euro versus the CHF. Looking for some charts. Okay, looking for something. Okay, it's also in that same position. Maybe we're starting to have. Looks like the trend. We had an upward trend there, then now a downward trend, and it's down here at the support level. Maybe it's going to reverse. Anyway, some good confirmation will be price breaking above this mark. That is 1.07540. So if you're buying, maybe if price breaks above there, if you're going to sell, you wait for price to break below there. It's not very far. It's just the in between. So the side that prevails is the side that you take. We don't have diversion taking place, or we don't have those simple things. So maybe for these two bottoms and then these two bottoms, could be having some kind of divergence taking place. But anyway, breaking one of these two areas here will be a good sign for you to start selling or to start buying. Other charts which are there, euro versus a Danish krone. That one we're not going to look at it because it might have a very big spread. Okay, there are so many charts in there. There's a euro GBP. It's currently bearish. Maybe it will continue selling. Look for another one. The euro versus a Norwegian krone. These charts are not so bad. It can give you some good money. This one has broken a long-term support level there. Let me see if it is. Yeah, looks like it's at some major support levels there. There's that point A and this other point B. So if the euro versus the Norwegian krone continues downwards, there's going to be some good selling prospects in front there. And this chart it has so many pips in a price movement because just a small movement like that has about 3,500 pips. Just a small price move. So if you're going to go for that, all the best. Okay, the euro versus the New Zealand dollar. Okay, maybe it's bouncing off there. You can't really tell. It's a 4-hour chart. Maybe this one here will need some smaller charts to get some proper price movement and to take some short trades. Okay, there are some GBP charts there. The pound sterling versus the Australian dollar. Okay, it looks like it has somehow reversed there in a daily chart. So maybe we can take this Fibonacci from down here to the top. And price is just at the 38.2. So if it keeps dropping any further, you can very much take about 130 pips to the 50.0. This is a daily chart. So this one has some predictability there. You can trade it. You can trade it and see if your analysis actually allows. The pound sterling versus the Canadian dollar, not really. It is very bearish. GBP CHF range market, bearish but range is not really nice, not very predictable. The pound sterling versus the New Zealand dollar. Okay, it's also somehow. It doesn't look very good. It doesn't look very predictable. Let's see if we can find one that is very, very predictable. The New Zealand versus the Canadian dollar. Okay, I said I wasn't going to look for a reversal, but we have a good case of a reversal here. Look at this bottom and that bottom, two rising bottoms. Then we have these bottoms here that are falling, so we have clear divergence there. We have the MACD probably going to cross above this zero line, and maybe these averages will cross. So here we could be having a possible reversal sometime in the future. It's a chart of interest, the New Zealand dollar versus the Canadian dollar. So this one has a picture perfect divergence taking place, which means there's going to be an upward movement. It's going to be there for quite some time. If it is a false move, then the levels you should look out for, this 23.6. So that 23.6 is normally a cheat code. Price could easily reach there, so easily. This one has about 50 pips, so price could easily reach that 23.6. Then if the trend reverses, there's about 100 pips to this 38.2. Then about 160 pips to the 50.0, and about 200 pips to the 61.8. So those are some good. Looks like it will work out. It looks very predictable. And wait for the predictable charts is something that must obviously be done. So this one here, New Zealand versus the CHF, not really. New Zealand, Japan, also bullish. That's what I wanted to see. So it is Japan that has the problem. Every other chart is going up against it. Okay, which is not bad, but it's not very predictable. Also, there's the momentum was too much yesterday. The New Zealand dollar versus the US dollar, the 4-hour chart. No, not really. There isn't much. There isn't much to look at there. Maybe you can take a look at gold. Yeah, so tomorrow you have FOMC minutes, and that could affect gold. Seriously, so for that one, I think we shall look at it tomorrow. We shall start with this chart of gold tomorrow and see how its price movement is and how the FOMC minutes could affect it later on tomorrow in the night. So I think that's the last chart for today. Yeah, there's a lot that is taking place on the Telegram group. If you're not part of that group, you can search for BVB Trade FX and you will join it. You can search for you can search for Trading Dawn. I was going to say bulls versus bears, but anyway, you can search for Trading Dawn and you'll get there. You can search for BVB Trade FX and you will get there. And there is so much happening. The community is growing. This time we have many women who have joined in, and that is quite good. So many people are joining in. It's good to have that. It's not a men's thing to trade forex and all these other things. It's not a men's thing. Plus, we also need other perspectives from other, from the ladies who will tell us what they think about the market and what works for them. And we might have very rigid ways of analyzing. So once you bring in that flavor and we compare, we could make our strategies much stronger. Yeah, so there's so much happening on the group. There's binary options that is taking place this week. There are so many enthusiasts of binary options. And many people have binary options because they make quick money. Yeah, binary options make quick money, quicker than trading forex. So if you want to be making very fast money, very, very fast, or if you want to be losing money very fast, the opposite is always, there's always that opposite part of it. You either make money very fast or you lose it very fast, depending on how you're doing it. But by principle, binary options make they make money much faster. You can make money faster as well in forex if you have very good risk management. And by risk management, it's not betting against your money. It's by putting very, very well thought strategies and trades into play. Yeah, without, you might want to risk small money on your account, but that's not a good strategy. The good strategy is to have a very well thought trade inside. If you have put in a badly thought out trade, then you will be risking more of your money. But if you think of your trades so well and put in well informed trades, then you will be managing your risk much better. So you can also make a lot of money in forex, maybe even faster than binary options. But the other side, things are very, very high paced. And it's good to know everything in all worlds. So binary options have the same charts as forex charts. So you can go in there and you see how to work out everything that's happening there. You see how you can profit from that side. And now you can also profit from this side. If you want things to move slow and steady, then you find where to base your piece. You find a place where you will have a chart that will be sane, so that you have a point of sanity in your mind. If you put all your charts in the high risk trading systems, then you're going to somehow be insane. It's going to be a very crazy time for you to trade. So all that information is there on the Telegram group. To join it, search for BVB Trade FX or search for Trading Dawn, and you will get there. And there will be so much happening. So many people are giving their opinions, their views, which is really good. It's really, really good. It gives me a chance to see how far people have reached. Then those who are just starting out, they say, I am new to forex, I don't know anything, I need help. Yeah, so I'm going to come in and help. Some people are already helping, which is quite good when people step up and take up responsibility for these, for the people who have just started trading. So when the time comes, I will also pitch in and I will teach trading strategies, and maybe we shall discover your personal trading strategy. We shall discover these things together, and we shall get better like that. So join the group, search for Trading Dawn or search for BVB Trade FX. Get there and join the community. Yeah, so I hope okay, that's it for today. I hope you'll have a good day, and you'll have a good trading experience today throughout the night. Yeah, so I think that's it for today.